Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Piper Academy, and today is going to be a big one. We got all kinds of news to talk about, and Bitcoin is holding strong at 72K, Ethereum holding strong at 4K, and we might have a new advocate for the crypto world, baby. Trump might be on our side, so let's go ahead and get into it. Class is in session. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode, and here on this channel we give you some of the most unbiased TA, all the most important market news, and we do it every day at 09:30 Eastern time. So don't miss it, because we always are bringing that alpha. But I'm really excited today because guess what? OC is back in the house. Let's go ahead and bring him on. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Much, just getting back in time. I mean, yesterday I was 1 hour late. You guys had a shift time, and as you may know, Mexico doesn't do that anymore. So I was just trying to be early, and since I was a 1 hour late.
Yeah, man. I think that happened to a few people, because me and Alex, we were looking at it, we're like, it's a little small in the viewership today, and then the views took off afterwards. Like, they just spiked, and I was like, man, I think a lot of people might have got caught up with that like 1 hour time difference. So yeah, but all good, man. We're here now, so let's go ahead and make up for it, right?
Let's make it up for it.
Let's go. All right, let's bring that alpha. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is going to be the economic calendar, because we had big news come out today, and core inflation rate as well, month over month, as well as the year over year. Those numbers came out today. So as you can see, the forecast numbers were 0.3%. The actual for the month over month is 0.4%. So the consensus, it was supposed to be 0.3, obviously a little bit higher there. Core inflation rate year over year was 3.8, and the forecast was 3.8. So kind of what they were expecting there. But inflation rate month over month, this one was a little bit of a, I think that one was forecast to be 0.3%, and you can see that one came out at 0.4%. Inflation rate year over year, 3.2%, and the forecast was 3.2% as well. So then you can see some of the previous numbers, but we're going to tie this all in, because you're like probably looking at numbers. TradeFly, what do those numbers mean? Well, this is why we have the Kabisi letter. It's why we love it. And so let's take a look at it. So February CPI inflation rate rises to 3.2% above expectations of 3.1%. And core CPI inflation fell to 3.8% above expectations of 3.7%. This is the this is the 35th consecutive month with inflation above 3% and second straight increase. So what does it all mean? How does this all tie in? It essentially means a Fed pivot is becoming less likely. So that's kind of what all of that means there. And, can't say I'm surprised. I would say probably about, I don't know, a couple months ago, me and Piper were talking about this, and, the numbers, I think they were looking for a Fed pivot, or at least bringing the interest rates down, I want to say as early as May, June. Well, that's going to be a lot less likely, unfortunately, because they're still fighting to bring inflation down. And, it is what it is. I mean, the stock market was taking a big hit, I think, because of this. But now, I mean, you can see where Bitcoin's at. The Nasdaq's at all-time high. S&P's at all-time high, or was. It's pulling back just a little bit. But, I think we're starting to care. Maybe we're getting a little desensitized to this. But I can tell you, my piggy bank has not been desensitized, because when we go to the grocery store, that has not been a fun experience. Let's go ahead and get over to the crypto bubbles. Take a look-see at those. You got, looks like Run up 13.4%. Ton, not even sure what that is. It's not Tron, it's Ton, 18.1%. engine. Now that one's is gaming centric. That's 18.4%. XRP. Hey, finally, welcome to the party, XRP. You moved 12.5%. So I know a lot of people out there are happy about that. Let's see, what do we got in terms of movers? Renders pulling back, but they had a pretty big push. So for it to pull back a little bit, not too surprising. That's down 8.7%. PayPay down 8.9%. That was another big mover as well. So none of it, nothing too crazy today. Pretty status quo, I'll say. And let's go ahead and look at the liquidation heat map. Now this one's always fun. So in the past 24 hours, it looked like 91,895 traders were liquidated, and the total liquidations comes in at 230 million. The largest single liquidation that happened on Bybit, and that was actually BTC at 1.92 million. So that's actually not that bad. And you know what? This is only for the 1 hour. So here you go. Welcome to the party, TradeFly. Already making mistakes. Let's see how this updates. That one's still in 24 hours. So the only thing that really changed was the heat map. Cool. All right. So here is the heat map that I like to look at. Let's see where some of that liquidity is sitting. And you can see it's starting to build up around the 65.9 area. So just under about 66,000. One of the things that I always talk about to you guys is that the price likes to chase liquidity. So where's that easy money that the maker can get? Well, I mean, if the maker really wants to get his, it's going to have to come down. I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount, actually, 609 million at about 66,000. So I would say that's very realistic. Don't be surprised if you see a wick down there, at least to clear out some of that liquidity. So, and that, with some of the news that's coming out this week, who knows how that's going to impact the market. I think it seems like we're getting a little desensitized to it, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up the duo cam. Let's go ahead and bring OC into the fight here. What are you thinking about the inflation numbers and the impact that it's going to have on the market? And yeah, let's hear what you got, man. Hear what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, we've been seeing that. CP data has been coming as mostly as expected, right? And so there's a couple of things that I'm seeing. Actually, I'm seeing one of the banks on the states just plummeting, and that is something that I'm really watching. Why? Because that might be forcing the government to start dropping interest on loaning money. And when that happens, it usually propels Bitcoin, right? So we might have something forcing the hand of the SEC to drop those numbers, and that might be something worth to be taking a look at. I'm pretty excited on what might be happening, especially after this data have come out, because we've been seeing Bitcoin, just not caring about anything, just keep moving upwards, holding their position. Everything is just insane, and don't get me wrong, I love it. But yeah, that's what I think that we might be facing up next. But TradeFly, let me know, what do you think, and what else do we have online?
Yeah, man. So like I said, as I was kind of going through it, I think it seems like it's not influencing the market as much right now. Like you said, it is kind of around the expectation. But the interesting thing for me, right, is we're saying it's at expectation, yet we were expected to have rate cuts coming up here in like May and June, and now that's off the table. So like it's very interesting. Like, how are we at expectation, yet we're not really trending in the direction that we thought that was forecast, probably about a month ago. So that part of it is interesting to me. But I'm gonna get over to the chat here. Haven't really said what's up to you guys. That's probably one of my favorite parts. It's gonna be a little bit harder for me to interact with you guys typing wise today. So let me go ahead and see who's actually in the chat today. So Mr. J, as always, and what happened to the Mr., man? You're just J now. ZTS holding it down as always. He's in the background. He's a big help getting us going today. Justin Eubanks, what's up, my guy? Army Piper, hey man, you're the linchpin. We do miss you. Prayers up. Hope everything's going well. And then he's gonna turn around. He's gonna go on vacation, man. We're alone and unafraid. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. Alexandra G, what's up? How you doing? You're always in here. OC, mixing it up with everyone. And then Crux, that's our dude. He's putting out those videos. His first video, I don't know if you guys saw that. You guys need to go check it out, man. He did very well, and that video is actually doing very well. So I think it was the Caspa one that took off. It's got over 3,000 views or something bananas. So go check that out, man. He did a really, really good job breaking that project down and giving the details. And not gonna lie, it made me want to invest. Indie Rock Crypto, what's up, my guy? Ada Ace, always in here holding it down. Eric Wallen. Sorry, bro, I don't have the chart for you today, but I'll give you the shout out. Ninja Glock, how you doing? Let's see, LBC in the house, my guy. Let's see who we got. C90, FTW, and Harp. What's up? What's up? Crypto Billy, my guy. Tuesday's the day. Billy Go Tails. If you guys don't check that out, that is probably one of my favorite spaces on all of X. So go check that out. Tuesday nights, Crypto Billy's holding it down. That whole team, him, Redman, Biomex. I mean, just all those dudes are awesome. So really, really good guys. Let's see who we got in here. French Toaster, Sweezy. Look, all kinds of people popping up now that I'm saying names. Huh? All right, so let's go ahead and get back to it.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
my alumni. You know what I mean?
Yeah, alumni. Thank you for spending your time with us. We really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and take a look-see at some of the news we got. All right, the old Trumper, he's back in the news. So this guy has progressively kind of moved into our court, right? Initially, he was against Bitcoin. Next thing you know, there's Trump NFTs. This man's coming out with shoes, all kinds of stuff. And it seems like he's really starting to warm up to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So, you know, you've heard there's been a couple interviews where he's like, hey, you know what? Like, there's something here. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it alone because I think he realizes that a lot of people in the United States, they know what Bitcoin is. They know what cryptocurrency is now. And it's something that's become kind of a hot topic, we'll say, within the government. And OC, man, I think you got a video for us to actually watch. And let's go ahead and go over to that.
Absolutely, let's roll it. So hopefully you guys, you can watch it now, and please let me know if the sound is playing loud and clear. So let's get it rolling.
About something very specific for regulation, and that is Bitcoin. And I have in the past, I don't know if you recall, but I said you got to look at this closely, Mr. President. And you know, the current SEC commissioner, Gary Gensler, finally allowed for these spot ETFs, and now we see Bitcoin at almost 72,000. But it's almost as if it's in spite of some of the efforts over regulation of maybe the Biden administration. Do you have any thoughts now on crypto?
Well, it's taken its own life. You know, I do little things sometimes for fun and, you know, make money with it, but I have fun with it too.
You mean
NFTs,
you bought Bitcoin? No, but I sometimes will let people pay through Bitcoin, or will let people get involved in a new, you know, if you think of it, it's an additional form of currency. And I used to say, you know, I want one currency. I want the dollar. I don't want people leaving the dollar. And I feel that way. But I will tell you, it has taken on a life. I did a thing that people smile at, but it was wild. We did 1,000 sneakers, so limited edition sneaker run. The last one, and you could go through, you know, our crazy new currencies, because that's what I call them. They're crazy, whether it's Bitcoin or others. And so many people were buying these things. And ultimately, the last pair of sneakers sold for approximately, I hear, $450,000. It was a limited edition, a run. They were gold. They were, you know, nice, cute. And we thought it was just a very small thing. It was a branding thing, and had a good time with it. The last pair sold for $450,000. People were going crazy for these sneakers. You probably were too. Everybody was. I have every friend I have has called me for a pair of sneakers. So it just took off. And I noticed that so many of them were paid for with this with the new currency. Crypto.
And it is that. It's a new crypto, cryptocurrency. And I couldn't believe the amount. And I'm saying, you know, this thing has really, and other things I do, people are using it. And, you know, I would be, I'm very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And and frankly, and I know Jay feels strongly about this, and Jay did a fantastic job, by the way, in a group where there's always scandal and problems. Jay went through 4 years. There wasn't one scandal. I don't know, Jay, maybe you can tell me, but there wasn't one scandal. That is the most scandalous position, because it involves massive amounts of money. With Jay Clayton, we had no scandal, zero, nothing whatsoever. So I thought it was great. But I have seen there has been a lot of use of that, and I'm not sure that I'd want to take it away at this point.
There you go. There you go. So one of the things when you're listening to that, you hear them the whole time, right? It's making money, man, and it still equates to the dollar, right? So it's one of the things that people, I think, are starting to understand, that like it's not really taken away from the dollar. It's actually adding to the piggy bank for some people, and it's giving them more dollars, you know? So he's always going to go back to the almighty dollar, but my man holds crypto. Like, he has wallets. People have, I'm pretty sure, confirmed that part of it. So, I mean, OC, what do you think, man? I think this is great news. This is bullish.
Yes, it is bullish, very bullish. I think there's three major things that I can take out of here. First of all, I mean, I do see Trump as a maybe 3 or 4 layer investor, or in let's just call it in the society of how influential and rich people is. I mean, there's a couple of layers, right? I see him not at the bottom, but I mean, it's not quietly at the top. Why? Because we can see right now maybe BlackRock getting the head spear breaking with the ETF, right? He's just waiting for everything to start evolving, and he's not creating. He's going to be jumping into the train of it. Although we can see, and he just said it, that he sometimes does things for fun to win some more money. And I believe that he was talking about some stickers, right? I believe he was talking about maybe some ETF that he was promoting, and he was getting, right, because I do remember that he was selling a couple of things in the crypto space. And I mean, he's also saying that he will never be leaving the standard of dollar, which is very important. Why? Because if we pair mining with a currency like previously was with a yen or with the China currency, now since it was banned, everything was migrating somewhere between Russia, States, so on and so forth, but mostly the United States. And that's going to be very key, very important, because if Bitcoin starts taking off, if we see a ton of movement of institutional money and start getting some seriousness in crypto, I mean, whichever currency it's being held the most miners, that will be key for launching that currency to the upside. So yeah, that's the 3 points that I want to highlight of it.
So you know what's going to be interesting to me is if if Trump gets reelected, like those NFTs, those stickers, wonder how much those are going to be worth. Because if you see that one stock that's related to like the media company, it's like DWAC or something like that, ever since he's gotten back in the race and actually become a serious contender again, that thing is taken off. Like it's up quite a bit. So I'd be very, very interested to be like, hey, this dude is the president. Like, what is it going to do to the NFT market? That would be kind of, well, I guess we might see. Might not be too long. We'll find out, huh? And Alexandra, dude, thank you so much. Gifted
I got you.
Academy membership. Let's see who got it. Hey, Mellow Fellow. He's always up in here. So that's awesome. I'm glad it ended up in the hands of somebody that shows up almost every day. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Alexandra G. You are the best. She is everywhere.
That's my alumni, you know what I mean?
I feel like I go in, like I go to support people, and Alexandra is always in there. All right, let's go. All right, let's see what else we got today. Let's go ahead and actually look at Bitcoin on the charts, and that is pushing up a little bit. It was in the 71K range probably as early as this morning when I woke up. And now we're sitting at about 72.2. and we're flirting really with that all-time high. So this is on the weekly right now. It's just pushing. We've already broken out. Like, we had a cup and handle on the weekly, which is insane. It went to the measured move. The measured move took it up to about the all-time high. Obviously, we broke through that. But right here, if you're looking even on the weekly, obviously it's just a close and an open, but it looks like it's trying to find support all the way up here above the previous all-time high. And this is good news. Like, we're not having a massive pullback. Like, we got that one when it hit the all-time high. I think people were just taking some profits there. Wasn't surprised that we pulled back a little bit. But man, we have really recovered, and we're continuing this upward trajectory. It's just unreal. Like, look at this. So it's looking bullish. I'm not going to break this down yet. We'll kick it over to OC in a second here, but I'm going to tie this in, right? So we do have another little piece of news. Now, this says influencers, and that's cool and all, but hey, they might not be wrong here, all right? So it may not be, something bad to look at. And what they're saying, they're urging their followers to actually pick up Bitcoin, gold, and silver, and they're citing the risk of rising national debt in the United States, right? So it's basically, we've been saying the hedge against inflation. Now we got this rising national debt, and like, how do you offset that? How do you get around that? And they're saying Bitcoin is part of the equation now. So the whole narrative of Bitcoin being that, digital gold, it's here, baby. It's come to fruition. It is now, being lumped with those physical assets. And, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, and I said, if the world were to crumble, yeah, gold and silver, I got it. You want something tangible because you're going to be trading things, right? But like everyday utility, like here or the now, like you're not taking gold and silver to the grocery store and trying to exchange that for things. I guess on a lesser extent, some of the coins that we have, but, when I'm talking about gold and silver, I'm talking about the bigger physical assets of it. And so Bitcoin is really, in line. It is now a store of value. This is confirmed. Okay. We have institutional investments in it. And, this is now the public view of it. So this is, more bullish news. This is wild. I'm gonna be honest with you. At this point, let's go ahead and back to Duocam. At this point, I thought after Bitcoin got to an all-time high, we were going to start getting those narratives to bring that puppy back down. And like, I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing bullish article after bullish article. I'll tell you what I'm not seeing, though, is the non-stop we're going to 100K thing that we saw last time. That's the one that got me. Like, every influencer on X, when this thing was at like 65, going up to 69, we're going to 100K, and everybody got just demolished. So yeah, now we have guys like OC saying we're going to 500,000, 100,000 is the old narrative. We're going to 500,000. What do you think, man?
We're on our way already.
Yeah, no, it's ahead of the curve. We're supposed to pull back before the halving, and we might just go right through it. Like, it's not even going to impact. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, but I think OC might have to take one out of Lunar Beach's Cryptos book and get some bull shades.
Oh yeah.
That could be it.
I'll break out the aviators, bro. We'll do it.
All right. I believe that a pullback is imminent. There's no denial, or I believe there's no denial that we're gonna have a pullback. But yesterday, it was yesterday. Lunar Beach's Crypto was in the class on ChartPrime, and he was mentioning a couple of things that I think he was right on the spot. We might not see that pullback out of before the halving event. Right? We have always seen it, and as Piper has also noted, we might already have gotten it, which was that little pullback that we had a month ago. Nonetheless, we've seen this institutional money pushing up, and we might have some taking profits at the halving event, but also, a pullback, it's imminent, and we will see it either shorter, or a short pullback, or a large pullback, or a very deep pullback. But I'm more likely going into a short pullback because all of the pressure that the ETF is making on the price action. We see all of this big, huge companies, the ETF builders, just grabbing Bitcoin nonstop, and we've been just draining these miners out per day. So yeah, I mean, I believe there's going to be a crazy run to the upside, but also we'll see how far can we go before that pullback.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Because now that institutional investment's in, they have a large quantity of Bitcoin. We were looking at that yesterday. I want to say it's like 190,000 around there. Okay. And that's 190,000 for BlackRock. That's only a single entity. And then another 190,000 might be close to 200,000 now for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. So like these are large quantities that are just going to be kind of locked up, right? So it's going to be interesting as you start adding more institutional investment that those coins are not going to be moving. They're going to be pretty stagnant in terms of like, selling pressure. And so now if one of those dump and they're like, hey, we're getting out of the game, like we made ours, thank you very much, Bitcoin, we're already up, 50% this year alone, we're going to go do something else. We'll come back later. That could be an issue. Or if Congress comes out and actually has some kind of regulations that negatively affect, people to invest in those things and, that too. But right now it's wild, man. Ain't nothing but bullish here. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and kick it over. Let's get some TA. If you guys want to see something in the chat, go ahead, let us know. And we'll go look at the charts. OC, do you have a Bitcoin up? You want to look at that? Do a little TA on that?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
All right, man. Let's kick it over.
All right, so let's take a look at a couple of things before I jump right into Bitcoin. Nonetheless, I want to give you a little bit of a peek. This is my most important chart. Why? Because I have been keeping track on important areas, especially those kind of like reactions in here. And we see the correlation between them, although the correlation was broken right here when we have this parabolic keep moving to the upside. So it's going to be soon since when I start just removing stuff in here, but not quite there yet. But what I want to give you a sneak peek, it's on the 4-hour area right here where we have a bullish pennant that actually played out very, very nicely. Let me double click here to bring it up on a pattern. Here we go. And let me show you that I have two possible targets. The first possible target is this one that I grabbed it from the previous movement to the next stop. So you can see that this possible target, if we can make it a flip of the room to the upside, we will absolutely be getting to 77K, very close to 78. And then the next possible target, if we can hold it and keep pushing forward, it is this pennant that their space is all the way down here. And if we measure it as a measured movement, it is aiming at 84,110. Again, I'm still expecting that possibility for a pullback. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but we need to be prepared as traders. This is something that I've been talking about, and I mentioned it today. The NYCB, New York Community Bank Corp, Incorporated, right? So look at how bad this is doing. I mean, we are on weekly, guys. And let me show you, if I zoom out of here, we are basically all the way back down here with previews. I mean, 94. Monday, 5 September, 94. I mean, we are 2004. I mean, look at how bad we're doing right here. And this is why I'm expecting maybe this institution might be forcing the hands of, on the red highs to be caught so this can recuperate, right? Or they can do a little bit better. And we know when those red highs get caught, we could be going to Bitcoin. And let me ask you now, what looks like this Kim, right? Or what looks like this Cam? This one or this one? I don't know. I'm still aiming. I mean, you guys know that my whole retirement set it is orange. I'm not saying that yours should, and I'm still basically holding either US dollars or the orange coin, Bitcoin. So that's what I got so far. It seems like we have a possible brighter movement up ahead, and depends on the next rate hikes that we might be seeing up next to see what happens. Again, this is speculation that we might be seeing cut off rate hikes to help NYCBs, but nonetheless, still a real possibility. So turning it back to you.
All right. Yeah. So got a little request for SHIB. I got that pulled up on the daily right now. Looking at that, It looks like a bull pennant, man. So, I mean, it had a really big push up with a lot of them. And if you actually take the fib retracement, it looks like it pulled back to the 382. Now, it's really hard to use some of these methods with a coin that pushes up so hard, so quick, because looking at this move, let's go ahead and measure that out real quick. That is a 383% move. Okay, that's banana land. So yeah, like you could have a really big pullback. Like when you talk about, something to pull back 20, 30, 40%, like that's well within play. And actually, let's go ahead and measure that from top to where we're at currently. Yeah, so like 30%, right? So that's very much in play. But you can see right now, it's starting to constrict a little bit. You see that price action is getting smaller and smaller, so it wants to make a move. Now, looking at the RSI or the prime oscillator here, you can see like it has the opportunity to reset, and that's what you want to see. All right, which you see this trend, it's going up and right. It's giving it the opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and draw you a line here, right? So you see that trend continuing up and right. That's a good sign, all right? And then you want this to kind of bend up right here. And if you see that, you do have the opportunity for this bull pennant to actually play out. I would be very careful though. So like if you're going to try to play this measured move off the bull flag, then I would look somewhere in this area right here at about a whole bunch of zeros, 3-1, pretty much where it's at time now, and then a very tight stop loss. But don't put a lot of money in this one. And again, not financial advice, but for it to pull back to the 0.5 is well within reason. But the thing is, I'm looking at the wicks, right? And you could put a really tight stop loss, but you also want to look at like where could it actually find support, and it could actually find support right in this area as well. Let me draw you a horizontal line here, right about here. So the problem with this, because it is pulled up, and I would be very, very careful with this. For me, like if I was looking to invest in this, then it's very low capital, because a 10% move down, well within play. All right, so got to be very, very careful with this one. And then you want to have a stop loss either directly underneath of this or right under this area here. It depends on the capital you're investing and your tolerance for risk. Personally, when we get up here in areas like this after a huge push up, my tolerance level goes down, all right, because I'm less sure about it. We're not in a range. We've pushed up so hard, so quick that a big pullback could happen, especially like some data comes out this week that changes things for us. But looking at this on the weekly, I just want to get an idea, like, and see, this is what's nice here. So I'm looking at this now. You can see like you have resistance here. It came up for a retest. It flipped this. This is now resistance, no longer support. And then you have a big breakdown, right? So for it to pull back to all kinds of zeros and a 2.9, definitely within play. But if the bull pennant plays out, well, coming up here to the measured move, look, you got this big old wick right here, as well as a wick here. So this is just on the weekly. Let me go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. I will say that it's very much in play, right? So it can make a measured move all the way up to, right in this area at about all kinds of zeros and 5.4. So what is that? Let's go ahead and measure that for you real quick, just to see what kind of move is. We'll come back over here, measured move, boom. And you're looking at probably about a 60% move if that were to play out. So, I mean, there's potential there. There's definitely potential for SHIB. Again, be very, very careful because it's had a really big move up. But, indications here would say that it's still probable to actually play out. So that's what I got for SHIB. What else you got, OC? Turn it over to you, man. Dealer's choice, baby. Unless we got something.
Absolutely. Let me just take a look first at Plan B. Plan B, you guys know I'm a big fan of Plan B. I've also actively used and take in consideration his scales and his calculations. Why I don't think that they're kind of like so precise that I'm going to be hitting those targets, like to get out and get in. I will be doing my TA before that, but I think that is a good overall directional show. But yesterday he was publishing one of something very interesting here. Look at what we had, or what the characteristics of the market that we've been seeing 2012, 2016, 2020, and now. So basically we have the blow off top, we have the bearish market, we have the very first spike, the very first spike, and possibly, if everything goes right, currently we could be going for that movement. Although, remember, now this is a little bit late because we already have broken the previous high all the way up here. So basically, we are here, and we are here. So hopefully, this is right on the spot, and we can have some melting faces earnings right there on yeah on Bitcoin. So again, guys, every bull trend has its retracements, so not to spread FOMO. I want to catch up with AVAX. I do see somebody requested AVAX, and so far we have nothing here that led us to believe that we could not be going further up. Although, I mean, I believe that you're requesting this analysis because you're seeing that we're breaking previous highs here. Let me go a little bit back in time. Let me go to daily so we have a cleaner view on what might be happening here. And let me get started with some manual trend lines. Look at that. We're on previous high right here. Let me just go all the way back here, and we're going to be using a buffering system, right? What is that buffering system? It's going to be just basically $8. Just like T18 Teach and also Piper shows $80 that we're going to be drawing here to allocate that possible wiggle room between some areas that we might be seeing. So this is going to be my T-box in here that we need to break before we go to the next energy level. For me, the next energy level will be the next ranging zone, right? So far, we are still within some resistance, although we have a flip of the ribbon to the upside right here, and we continue pushing. Remember, this is daily, all right? This is daily. What am I going to be looking for to enter on AVAX? I want to see a clean breakout and then a retest, something like that. And then on the retest, also maybe going for a flip of the ribbon at the bottom. That would be my indication to keep pushing forward. So I'm not going to be planning into jumping until we break the 53.78 and then go for a retest, because otherwise we could be just rejecting back and maybe making a double top. Again, this is a bull market, and not because bull market have retracements. The most indication, the best strategy is to long everything, right? I will be looking for those pullbacks that we know that happen. So either pulling back to the dynamic reactor or somewhere close to the dynamic reactor, or breaking through the T-box, finding some support and going further up within the next energy zone. What for me is going to be the next energy zone? Somewhere around the 69.27. So far looking fabulous for AVAX. Let's go to the 4 hour to see a little bit more immediate movement and see what it gets for us. So as we can see, we have absorption zones here, big weakening into that T-box and rejection out of it. So, but we also see a possible dog face or a goose head pattern in there. If you have been here long enough, you know what does that mean. That means usually a continuation to the upside for a further move before we have a retracement. And that could be very much a much faster movement, like I was projecting, something maybe like that, going back down and then keep pushing forward. And that will be basically the case that I could be looking at AVAX. So areas to look for. If we cannot make it through the T-box, I'll be looking somewhere around 44.65. And I'm going to be placing my alert right there. So 44.65 or 43.92. And then re-entry zones after we break through, I'm going to be looking again at this same area at 51.40. Those are going to be my next upcoming movements that I'm going to be looking at, or places to be possibly entering on AVAX. So turning back to you, TradeFly.
All right. So looking over the chat, looks like we got a poll up right now. What is the highest price we see by having mid-April? We got 70 to 75K. Looks like that is running 27% right now. 75 to 80% is at 64%. And then we got our bulls in the house at 80 to 85K. That's getting up to kind of where I saw the high. And look, it's something sneaking in right now. You got the 85 to 90K plus at 8%. Uh-oh, bulls are taking over. Whew. We'll see, man. We'll see. I got to be honest with you. I'm not even going to, I'll be full transparent. I did not see us being above all-time highs. this fast and this close to the halving. And I mean, I think we're about 30 days or so out because it's expected to be in April. It's kind of a fluctuating date. It's all about, when they're mining, but man, it is wild to think where we're at. What do you think, OC? Where do you think we're going to be highest price before halving?
All right, highest price before having, I believe that we're going to have between 80 and 85. That's my prediction, and I'm pushing a little bit forward because I mean, despite I am looking for a retracement, I don't think there's going to be such a huge retracement that might take us so long to get back to this price. I mean, right now we are at what specifically? Let me just look for it. We are at 71, almost 72, 71, 800. And I mean, it's not too far away from that 80K. So possibly 80 to 85. That's going to be my prediction. What's it going to be yours?
Dude, I mean, this is tough. I like I said, kind of leading into it, I didn't think we were going to be this high. So I was like wrong out of the gate. I got to be honest. Looking at the chat though, man, we got some people clowning on Plan B, bro. Man, calling him Plan C. That man did disappear though for a minute. I'm gonna be real with you. He was all over last bull cycle, and then all of a sudden, now that we're getting up to all-time high again, my man is back. Back with a vengeance. Hey, I told you so. Nah, dude, you're. I think he updated his chart at one point too to like let me tweak this to make it kind of align a little better. But all good, all good. Let's go over and look at XRP. I know some people are got to be excited about that. I'll tell you what, when I talk to people, a lot of people keep telling me like, yeah, I'm just holding XRP. I'm thinking about dumping it. And, I was talking to my buddy the other day and I was like, just don't do that, man. You've made it through the worst part. The minute you dump, guess what it's going to do? And sure enough, here we are, man. So I feel good. I feel good about that call because XRP finally made a move. Now, I can't remember whose Twitter it was on, but they were like, just kind of clowning on XRP, and that's cool. Like, I'm not a XRP guy by any means, but I was like, you're not looking at the trend, bro. Like, the trend is still up and right. You have a support level that's going up and right consistently on the daily, and until we break that area, the trend is up and right. Like, it's still bullish, as slow as it's been, just because it hasn't moved as exponentially fast as everything else. The trend is just a slow, methodical move up and right. So, I mean, you had many, many opportunities to get into XRP and make a little bit of money. Now, it's not a full degen play. It's not a meme coin. You're not going to get the explosive movement. It's not Bitcoin with the institutional investment. It's not Ethereum where people think that they're going to get into it because of the ETF. But here nor there, like I said, pretty solid. All right. So what are we looking at now? Well, we're getting up to an area of clear resistance, right? We have multiple areas here. I can kind of highlight them. You have resistance here, and we're probably at resistance there. But then coming back, you want to look at the chart, coming back on the left. Let's see what we got here. So you got a little wick here. That's showing you something here. It just seems to be a little bit of a zone, but it's pretty busy in here, right? If you look through this area, you draw a line right through it, you see it gets really, really busy in there. So it makes sense. So you're seeing a little bit of pullback off of that 73 number. It went a little bit higher, but there's always a little bit of a range there you have to consider. For me, when I'm drawing a line, if I got two wicks that are pretty high up, I'm going to draw the line at the lower of the two wicks personally, and then I'm going to look for confluence there with some other areas or at least other touch points. So yeah, right now is at resistance. You missed a little bit of the move, probably going to have a little bit of pullback. Where do we go if we pull back? Well, there's a couple areas I would look for personally, and one of those is at 64 cents. And the reason is, look at how hard it fought with this area. Now, it did break through for a minute, came back down, retested it, and then it broke down, right? So this area right here seems to be significant. You can see it right here. You see this little area? This is on the daily also. So keep that into consideration that look how many times it tested this area. And again, right here, had a little wick up, came back down, tested it a bunch before it ultimately broke through. So that is one of the things that I always look for confirmation that it is in a strong area, is I want to see that explosive breakthrough or a big breakdown or some kind of retest, right? So we're getting all those indications in this area at about 64 cents. So mark that one down, set an alert. If it comes back down to that level, that would be an area of interest for myself. And then where else can we go? If it does continue to break down, it could come all the way down to 56 cents. You got to think, right? It's going to kind of come down in this trajectory. And guess what? It could find support again. and just stay in that range, just moving up and right. That's very, very much in play. So it depends on what your method is here of trading. For me, swing trader, I'm going to be more interested when it gets down to about 56 cents. So that would be probably where I would look to get into a trade personally. Just expecting that we're going to maintain this support area. So again, you'll come down to prime oscillator or your RSI, kind of look at that, see if you're getting those indications of a reset. But right now, looking at it, just time now, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, you could find a little bit of support here and then it comes back up and retests this area. But right now, my main two areas that I'm going to be looking for is 64 cents and about 56 cents. All right, man. That's what I got for XRP. What else you got for us, OC? We got anything in the chat?
Oh my boy, I do have INJ. I have Injective. This has
Oh,
been
there you
playing
go.
absolutely fantastic. Let me just, before I clean up my spaghetti, guys, let me show you a couple of my analysis that I had going on there. I mean, right here, you can clearly see where we have our prediction for a resistance, and also that we were looking at the oscillator right down here because we had a soft, previously hard order block, right? What happened there? Let me show you guys. This was my entry. I buy average price at 38.5, basically catching that week. That's how we catch those kind of movements, going for where we have support and resistance, and we set up our entries. Not only that, I also had a retrace analysis of 2% or almost 3%. So it kept pushing downwards, kept pushing downwards, kept pushing downwards, and as soon as I had a 3% retracement, that execution of that entry will be happening. So shout out for you guys that we were looking at Injective together and we nailed it. At this point, we're breaking through resistance, and we have that pretty nice week that we had going on there. Let me go to daily or even weekly to see what we have up there. So it seems like we are on all-time highs. So what can we do out of here? Well, first, we're looking for a clean breakthrough. We have it. Now we're going for a possible retracement, and then off we go. So how is that retracement going to be looking at? Well, there's two main ways that we can be looking at that retracement. The first way that I'm going to be looking that retracement will be something like this. And let me show it to you right here. Something like that. All right. So we might be having a little bit more push to the upside, then going for a retracement. And lastly, but not nothing to actually look away from, that retracement could also be looking like a like a bullish flag, or maybe as a little range that goes on for a little bit, hits this area right here, and then keeps pushing forward. So I'm gonna be looking for this area of support, and that's going to be key for me, so I can either sell a little bit of what I am holding or just keep moving forward with my entries. But on my oscillator, it's pointing at it wants to flick back into the green, and if we have moved very nicely without being in the green, just imagine what's going to be happening when we keep pushing forward. We are pretty bullish on our prime score and consolidation score. It's telling us that we should have a continuation on our movement up there. So yeah, that's what I got, brother. Turning it back to you.
Right on, right on. I got a MATIC. Obviously, we got to talk about that. So pulled up on the 4-hour chart. We've already probably beat this one at nauseum with the cup and handle, how that played out. So that was awesome. And then it's really kind of like XRP, man. You see this? You know, you got a channel. It's kind of going up and right. And until we really break out of that channel, it's hard to say that it's not bullish. You can see it did get an overbought, and it did respect that, and it pulled back a little bit. But that's after a pretty big move up and right. So, you know, I would like to see it find some support here in this area where it's at, really time now. It doesn't really look like it wants to hold up, though. If you're looking at the prime oscillator and just looking at the trajectory of the move, it looks like it wants to pull back a little bit more in my eyes, but that's okay, right? So if we take this line here, and we kind of extend it out a little bit, let's go ahead and move it so it's kind of lining up with the rest of it. You can see that that's kind of lining up with the moving average as well. So you got the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200. It's well within play that it finds some support in this area at about $1.12 with the 50-day moving average, as well as this area of support that's just trending up and right. So that's probably an area that I would key in on. That's pretty quick look at MATIC. Let's go ahead and draw this one up as well, just to kind of give you maybe a high side. So yeah, if it continues up and right, then yeah, it could get up to about 128. That's possible. Let's go ahead and look at the daily here, and let's see what we have for resistance. All right, so we got about 124. So that's probably where, yeah, and look at this area right here. You see all that? Just a bunch of stuff going on in there. So I would probably mark that off as maybe like a high side. And let's go ahead and change that color. So there you go. So it's two real areas for you to keep an eye on. I say about 112 if it continues to pull back, find some support in this area. And then about 125, I would say my bias would be for it to come down and retest this area before it actually makes that move ultimately up and right. So, you know, keep an eye on the rest of the market, you know, see what it's doing, see if Bitcoin has any kind of pullbacks. I think MATIC's probably likely to follow. There's no big narratives that are going to drive Polygon right now. So, yep, really quick look at Polygon, just following up on that. What else we got? We got anything else in the chat?
Just a real quick shout out to Crypto Archie in the chat.
Oh, look, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man?
Archie, what's up, brother?
There you go. Yeah, we got to get you back on the show, dude.
Archie, let us know if we can do any analysis for you, and throw us maybe a hard pull right here onto the chat, and we maybe can take a look at it. So, guys, also, we are almost at the end of the show. We still have a couple of minutes. So, please let us know if you want us to take a look at any assets. We'll be doing our best to cover them, any and all of your assets. So, in the meantime, what is up? TradeFly, sorry for interrupting you. You got something to say there? Let me know.
Oh, no, I was going to ask. Yeah, you said, Archie, if he's got anything, we'll take a look at it, man. We got a few minutes left. Let's throw up one of those coins, one of those low caps that he likes, see what he's got. He could have just stopped by to say what's up, which it kind of looks like, but all good, man. You got anything else on the plate? What's up?
I do have ADA and line it up.
Cardano.
Exactly, Cardano. How can you go away from it? So basically, let's take a look at here. And this is my previous analysis. This is the long-term analysis. So let me go back to daily and start looking for those big areas of support and resistances. As you can see, I was marking these
Sorry to cut you off real quick, OC, but TradeFly, Crypto Archie says PZP.
Cool.
Correct. You want to pull it up?
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up.
Perfect.
Go ahead, finish your analysis, and then I'll just take a quick look at it.
Absolutely. So basically, I do see a big gap right here between this area and this area. So I'm just throwing those support and resistances, and I'm hoping for that breakout, which seems to be happening right now. And not only that breakout, we need to stay above this area right here and then keep pushing upwards. So let me show you what I was expecting right here, but it seems like we're having it a little bit below, especially if we go to the 4 hour. Let me just make this look way better. There we go. And we went for the dynamic reactor at the same areas right here and keep pushing forward. So far, technically, we're doing a lower high, all right? But nonetheless, we're still between this range that we can come up with right now here. I know it's a little bit of a mess. This just kind of came out. Let me do a little bit of a manual range that I'm looking at. This is the range that I'm looking forward to be broken. And of course, as you can see, breakthrough going up, retest, and off we go. If we can make it past this support right here, this resistance, and make it support, I will be looking at 97 cents for the next target. If we break it, well, then I'm going to be looking somewhere around 66 as the next possible reentry. And finally, somewhere in, I have my electric here with a big back already getting ready to enter right there at ADA at 56. In fact, I'm going to be just moving that slightly up here and that at 0.60 for my big huddle back to be getting there. Again, this is not financial advice. And throwing it back to you, TradeFly, let's take a look at PCP.
Cool. Got Plays app up on the daily. So to be super quick about this, what we're looking at right now, there's a couple things. This was your area right here. So when it pulled back off of this high and it came all the way down, you could see where it started to flatten out and it interacted with the 200-day moving average. Very important level. And then you also had that influence with the 618 or the golden pocket. This was your area. You come down the indicators, you see this up and right action. This was the area to get in. Now, since it's pulled up, it's starting to have a little bit of a pullback. Well, we're at a pretty important level right now, okay? So 0.5 is at what, about 30 cents. That's a very significant area that you want to keep an eye on. And you have confluence with, it looks like, the 50-day moving average here, right? So you're hoping that this lines up or actually acts as support, right? And if it has some time, if you can see some continuation of this movement to the right, and you have the 200-day move up to meet this area right here, you got a lot kind of lining up for you, because overall trend is still up and right. You're getting a set of higher lows, which is a good sign, higher highs off of that movement that came down. So you might be actually seeing a reverse in trend just based on a real quick look on the daily. So 0.5 might actually hold up. So 2 key levels for you to look at. 30 cents, that's one of them. Time now. If it continues to break down, then we start looking at the 618 or the golden pocket again, which is in the area of about 23 to 22 cents, more likely about 23, just based on this last movement. And looking here, you got some resistance, some support. So yeah, it all kind of lines up. So 2 areas for you to look at if you want to lather into a trade. That might be an opportunity. Or you could have some interest right here, very tight stop loss, because it's saying falls, then it's going down to the golden pocket. That's almost no questions asked. Where do we go if we continue up and right? Let's go ahead and take a look-see, right? You can see this area right here. It's going to be a little bit of a zone. And I say it's going to be a little bit of a zone because you see both resistance and support in this area. And that is going to be right at about 39 to 40 cents. Could very much, you could see that pulling up and right. And that would probably be your biggest area of significant resistance. And then just underneath of that is at about 36 cents. And you can see that clear as day where the 0.382 is. So I would say right now, overall trend is actually going to be bullish, but that's a super quick look at plays at PZP. Might be something for you guys to look at. Crypto Archie is always dropping some fire. So I would say do a little bit of research on that. And that is about our time. We're going to have to wrap it up for today. Let's go ahead and send this one out. You want to go to the Duo Cam. OC, you got anything to say to the people on the way out?
Absolutely. First of all, Crypto Archie, thank you for stopping by. By the way, guys, if you haven't followed Crypto Archie, I just dropped his YouTube video on the next 100x Crypto Gaming Hub Play SAP PCB. So thank you so much for bringing it up also to the channel and letting and having the opportunity for us to do an analysis. For the rest of the people, please smash that like button since it really helps us, and also we appreciate your support of that. Other than that, turning it back to you, Mr. TradeFly.
Hey, thank you, man. As always, it was awesome mixing it up with you guys. If you couldn't tell, I was nervous AF, but it is awesome just mixing it up with you in the chat. Love doing this every day. Hey, go ahead and use some of our affiliate links. You can see we got the Crypto Tax and Legendary Aviation Coffee. That would be super helpful for the channel. And it is 7:30. We got to wrap this up because we are kicking it over to the next show. And with that being said, you guys have a great day. And don't forget, use a stop loss.
Don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!